As an enterprise social platform, IBM Connections offers huge promise for improving collaboration and increasing knowledge retention. However, an issue which regularly arises is the challenge of driving and extending adoption of Connections throughout the whole organization. Change management teams often work hard to drive awareness and communicate benefits. They recruit key stakeholders who they hope will influence others into joining the movement. To date, these influencers have been identified either hierarchically or based on people known to the change teams. This often misses who the real influencers are in the organization, the informal organization structure. At TrustSphere, we have developed an approach which can statistically analyze and map out the informal structure to help change teams select champions as part of their change program and adoption initiatives. Let me show you how it works through a familiar case study. The client here is a global technology organization for whom the rollout of an enterprise social collaboration was a highly strategic initiative. A year into the rollout, they found that there were only 500 active users out of 10,000 staff. Our brief was to help them resolve this poor take-up before the project was mothballed. So how do we help them? We recognized that adoption could be accelerated by identifying the real existing influencers within the company, per department and per geography. Once identified, these individuals could be recruited as the change champions. Since they were already the most social via communication systems, they would be the right people to recruit as advocates. To ensure objectivity and protect privacy, TrustSphere conducted a simple statistical analysis looking at two vectors, level of activity and level of connectivity. From a statistical perspective, this allowed us to help our client accurately identify who were the most connected and the most active individuals. The highly influential people formed the connection DNA of the organization's structure. They just needed to be identified, which previously was hard to do accurately. Our approach adopts the theory of node centrality to identify these folk. This often includes the mavens, tippers, brokers, and connectors. Our statistical analysis creates what we term a NAS per person, or a Network Activity Score, which is proxy for social influence. It is one aspect of a Klout score. It ranks people on a matrix of firstly how connected they are and secondly how active they are. We measure the number of relationships, the average strength of relationships, and their connectivity. This results in a NAS score being assessed for every employee. The output is a list of employee numbers and their respective NAS score. Change teams can then determine which individuals should be recruited. The result for our client? They gained a far greater understanding of their informal org chart. It gave them the ability to choose their social advocates by geography and department. Critically, that allowed them to include individuals who before would not have been selected for such a project, as their social influence was hidden. Technically, the approach was simple. A simple services engagement with us, a little like a blood test. The client sent us a sample of raw email logs. We analyzed 90 days of internal traffic and processed the logs and returned the NAS rankings. Privacy is extremely important to us. In order to protect client privacy data, we create pseudonyms by effectively assigning a random number to each employee. These numbers were only decodable by the client's change team. Because there was no employee identifiers in the raw data sent, compliance with relevant privacy laws was completely assured. Neither internal content nor external content nor subject lines were ever analyzed. We only analyzed internal traffic. It is a simple, powerful, and effective way to drive change projects, providing change teams with the map that they desperately need to clearly identify who they should recruit as their internal champions. Relationship Analytics by TrustSphere. Because relationships matter.